Hi everybody, welcome to this talk, Breaking Barriers, the Art of Free Gamified Security Training. Today I'm here to share a case study that we didn't initiate. It came and found us, so that's a nice one to know. And I would like to start this session with a question. Who believes in the vision that software security should start from developers? Raise your hands if you share this vision. So pretty much everybody in the room. So this is about starting security from the beginning, not just shifting it along the way, because you know when you have security at the end, it's costly, it takes more time and so on. And now I want to do like a follow-up. Based on the security trainings you did in your careers, how satisfied are you with those? If you are very satisfied, like from 7 to 10, raise your hands. And if you feel that something should change in general, like 1 to 6, let us know. So, yeah, thank you. And this is the case and the opinion of many developers around the world. We asked our developers, because GitHub is the platform where 100 million plus developers are building, scaling, and securing their software. And they told us that security training is less realistic outside of a dev environment because these developers were forced to kind of undergo video-based trainings that were full of theory and they were clicking the next button. And there are some other trainings that are similar to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. They show you some software, some code, and they give you 4 options. And you have to choose 1 or 2 options, but in reality, in the real world, you can have dozens of options, and you have no guarantees that if you fix something, it's gonna be actually fixed. Many times, maybe most times, that when somebody tries to fix something, there are more problems that are introduced. Then there's lack of personalization when you have these video trainings, and at the end of the day, it's boring. So in the beginning of this talk, I told you about the case study that came and found us. Basically, we created an open source project in the form of a game. Some company used it, and then they said, oh, we have something to tell you about our findings. And I want to introduce this company as a prop tech startup. Now somebody might think, what the hell is a property technology startup? So think about them as a company that is a software as a service, a centralized way to manage authentication and authorization in different buildings, agencies, and so on. For instance, the government of Czech Republic might have many buildings like this one. Instead of having authentication and authorization in each card differently, they can create groups and they can give to this building the same access as another building in a centralized manner. This company, at a point in time, and now we are before the game days, before the cool project we created, they started to use GitHub Advanced Security. This is how they were following our work. And for those that are not aware, GitHub Advanced Security is composed by a SAST solution called QL, a secret scanning solution, and Dependabot. And why I tell you this? Because this company had a scan, an initial scan, to find out their problems, their vulnerabilities. And they get this dashboard that is composed of secrets, vulnerabilities, dependencies. Dependencies is about supply chain. Vulnerabilities refers to software vulnerabilities. Secrets refers to tokens. And secrets are important because 49% of last year's breaches were because of secrets. And these alerts can be low, medium, high, and critical. So when this scan took place, this company was looking like this. 180, the number is not important, but what is important is how this number is being separated. You see they have a lot of critical that they can get breached straight away. They have a lot of highs, some mediums, and some lows. And an important statistics to have in mind is that 60% of small companies that got breached in 2019 closed within 6 months. So it's important to understand the risk here, right? Okay, so they saw this, they start to take some action. Somebody can say, oh, nice, they do well. In just 3 months, they fixed 80 things. But look at the surface area. The red stayed as it was. The orange stayed as it was. The yellow halved. And the blue also halved. But the real problem is here. These kind of problems that were fixed are mainly fixed because of automation. Like dependable and secret scanning is low and medium, is straightforward, automated, and is driven by the security team, okay? This is not real progress. And it's not real progress because the chief information security officer, we are in a startup, it's important to remember that, had the vision that this company should have the developers fixing security issues. Security should start from developers, as we said in the beginning, and you agreed with me. So the vision was for them to be as resourceful. I don't like the word resourceful personally because we are humans, we are not resources, but you get the point. I'm trying to use his direct words, as the security team. And this is not what he wants. So at this stage, they started to use video trainings, they started to use office hours for security, and let's see what happened, right? So let's have a look. We are 5 months later. Wow, look at this, 18. Somebody's gonna say, wow, fantastic, they are doing amazing. Main drivers, okay, a SaaS solution, office hours, the alert nature was high and critical, complex and strategic. But the elephant in the room was exactly these office hours. Let's quantify in terms of the productivity of this company. It took them 2 hours in meetings every week. Initially, the meeting started to be 30 minutes, then 1 hour, immediately 2 hours, and then they were spending 4+ hours every week to fix issues. Because this, like you see here, is more strategic nature, they touch more on the design, it's more complex and more strategic. So in reality, this made the company unproductive, and the whole thing is unsustainable because we are in a startup, and this is the same for small, medium enterprises, even big enterprises, right? In security, you have to defend in every area, and you have to defend well, while the attacker needs to succeed just once in one area, and they can get lucky and do so, and they can achieve a lot. So this company was spending asymmetric effort in code security, and the rest of the company was not having the same attention. At the same time, this company expanded from 100 developers to 150 developers. They don't sound a lot of developers, but it's like 50% growth on developers only. And you know, when a company increases, you have more supply coming in, more supply chain risk, you have more humans in the business, and at the same time, you have more code lines, and as the code lines increase, the attack surface increase. So they were at a crossroads. Do we continue like we are? Right now, we have a low amount of bugs, and we can keep up like this, or nobody in the future knows if we are gonna have more or less. But if we keep spending the effort like this, the company remains as it is, unproductive. And they started to think outside of the box as they were following us in social media from GAS, GitHub Advanced Security. They saw this game, a game that I created in March 2023 from scratch to try and address every single developer problem, like video-based trainings, simulated environments, boring, and so on. Before I show you the game, the last thing I want to say about this company is that they wanted to give it a go. They brought all their developers together in Vancouver, Canada. It's a Canada-based company. And they mixed them in teams. Like they matched a junior developer with a senior developer, and they asked them to play the levels, to play the game, to see how it is and see if this approach is better. But what is this game? This game is called the Secure Code Game. It's an initiative of my team, the GitHub Security Lab. I know I didn't tell you my name, where I come from, and so on. I'm gonna tell you this at the end because I think it's more important to show you my work first. It's an initiative to provide in-repo learning experience where the developers, the learners, secure intentionally vulnerable code. It's an open source project, it's free, and in the same way this company used it, other companies, other schools, whatever universities that we are gonna see in a bit have used it in the past. The updated numbers is 1.9 thousand stars and 5.1 thousand players, active players. Okay, so if you navigate to this repo here, in reality, we are gonna be inside GitHub Skills. GitHub Skills is a free website that tries to teach skills for free, but practical skills, right? In the same way there is the Microsoft Learning and so on. Right now I'm inside the skills. You can see at the top right, I'm inside the template repo, and I'm trying to copy this template so I can have a fresh version of it. If I click the buttons, I arrive at the stage that I can choose who is the owner, give any name, and I'm gonna tell you in a bit the difference of public and private, apart from the visibility, of course, what else you are gonna gain. After I created this template, after this new repo from a template repo, now you can see that it's in my profile, and I want to open this inside the code space. Why inside the code space? Of course, I can install everything locally, but inside the code space, I'm gonna have a working version with everything installed behind the scenes in under 2 minutes, so that I don't have to make my machine full of dependencies and so on. And at the end of the day, you get 60 hours of free code space usage every month. So it's amazing. 60 hours are more than enough to play the game maybe 2 times. I believe you need around 15 hours to complete the whole game. So after this, let's see one more time the code space thing. So you click here from the repo and you are in a code space. Code space is a virtual machine inside a browser. It looks like this when it's gonna be opened after the code space. So this is my code editor inside the browser. It's synchronizing if I want to. If I log in with GitHub here, I can have my extensions, my tabs versus spaces, you name it, font sizes, the same as locally. And here on the left, I know it's a bit wide, I can't read everything. So on the left, you can see that there is, for example, season 1, level 1. Every season, there are 2 seasons. Every season has 5 levels, and these levels are of increasing difficulty. So level 5 is the most difficult of season 1, but once you go to season 2, level 1, the difficulty starts again to be easy. The first season has Python and C, because I coded that entirely. My skills are more on these languages. But the second season, because it was community contributed, has 2 levels in JavaScript, 1 level in Go, 1 level in GitHub Actions, and 1 level in Python. Every level has the same file structure. As you can see on the left, you have a code file. Let's open that. The code file has functional but vulnerable code. And we also provide you with unit tests that initially are passing. At the same time, we offer you a hack file that exploits the vulnerabilities in the code file. And initially, this hack file fails to show you that you failed to pass the level. You can go to the next level when both the unit tests and the hack file pass. You are given a hint, a model solution. Of course, there are more than 1 correct solutions. And you also have the chance to contribute following that guide at the end, like others did. Now, I told you there's some difference between public and private. The only difference is when you need more hints. If somebody wants to really try their knowledge in security, in my opinion, private or public doesn't matter. But if somebody feels at any stage, even if they started to be with a private one, they can use the public one so that they can use our GitHub Advanced Security for free. They can navigate in the security tab and see some alerts about some levels. And then after they see the alerts, they can try to fix the problems. If they push the code again and the alert is not there, it means that the code is secure and they can go to the next level. Of course, they should also try the tests and the hack file passing. Back to this Canadian startup, the engineers had fun and a willingness to learn more because they saw the gaps. If we quantify this company was spending 15 minutes every 2 weeks in office hours for security instead of 2 hours in that meeting. And the developers were taking security for themselves. It was their job. Until now, the whole thing is sustainable, and this has become an onboarding training for the company without alert spikes. And again, this is free. You can fork it, remove the solutions at your own levels based on your own company's projects, classes, and so on. If we quantify these numbers, they started with 180 alerts, down to 7, and they were spending 4+ hours, and they are down to 15 minutes every 2 weeks. They asked their developers, how confident are you that you can take security in your hands? 9 out of 10 are happy enough to start doing it. And the company has SLOs, service level objectives, about the developers fixing the problems. Now, let's look at some universities that started use our game. And it's in the same vein. They started using it, and then they are sending us an email, say how happy they are, and say thank you, send some photos, and so on. And the first university that started was the University of Novi Sad in Serbia, the technical faculty teaching teaching CS and distributed systems. So we have the professor, Erwin. He observed that it was more efficient like this because he was splitting the students in the same room, like here, for example, in teams of 5. They had to solve a problem themselves, and after they tried themselves, he was sitting here and doing the lecture. So they realized that's a better way to understand how things are done, and at the end of the day, he believes that this way he's going to have the next generation of developers that think and believe in their skin. They are true fans of that security should start from the developer and shouldn't come at the end because it's late and risky. Finally, I want to touch on why gamification works and the fact that it's everywhere. And this is because I kind of went blind into building something with gamification. I didn't realize that it's gonna work. It was just an experiment. And then I realized that we are all victims, in quotes, of gamification. The whole market, first of all, tripled in size in just 4 years, 3.5 years. You see here from 9.1 billion to 30. But why? Some coffee shops, not the specific one here, for example, give you a stamp every time you take something from there. It's gamification. Social media with followers and likes is another form of gamification. When you get miles and points, when you are participating in small communities towards some goals, and when you are learning, for example, software security, there is a specific, let's say, amount of chapters you have to cover, and if they break it down like these with the rewards and stuff, they make it easier. Okay, but what does it make it to work? What it makes it to work is the real and powerful emotions. The ones of happiness, intrigue, dopamine, and excitement that come from these things. We think that we have control. For example, I don't know if you are fans of GTA, the Rockstar game, number 6 is gonna come out, yeah, okay. We are like driving some cars and whatever inside something, and we feel free and we can go everywhere. In reality, you are free inside a map, inside a predefined area, right? So we feel that we have control and we are masters of our own destiny. There's a known reward and paved way, so we know that after we do this, we are gonna win that. It reinforces good behavior. Back to social media. To get likes and follows, you have to post. So you continue doing so. And if we speak about the leaderboards, Social media with millions of users don't really use leaderboards because they are gonna make people to not have incentives or who is the person with the most likes, most followers. And to go against that, they create smaller communities of people, like in Strava and other athletic ones, you have smaller communities against that. A sense of achievement, you did something, competition, escape and explore, teamwork and collaboration, which is a big one with the secure code game. I summarized all here in case you have to understand why gamification works. Back to the secure code game, final slides. Our game is open source, is community driven, developer first, customizable, hands-on, and gamified against every single statement that you see here. And our community and players prove that is like this. So I invite you to not miss the chance to try out your security skills. If you so want to, you can check out Code Security for free. If you have a GitHub Copilot license, you can also try that. I have a talk that is purely on Copilot for security, but I post a lot of these things on my LinkedIn as well, and you can try things out if you want to. My advice is not to, if you want to learn. And finally, Code Spaces, with which you get 60 hours of free usage every month. Again, we welcome your contributions, like Denise. Denise, who works for HashiCorp as a senior product security specialist, put a lot of the problem he sees in real life into the game. He authored 3 of the 5 levels of the other season, of the second season, so that he could have a real impact in the real world of security, because he knows that with myself and my team, he can achieve so. My name is Joseph. You can ask me anything around this conference here or online at JKCSO on Twitter, and my name is Joseph Katsioloudes on LinkedIn. I love to create content for developers because security people don't really know how to speak to developers. They have a language that is like, this is how I'm gonna hack you, and I'm gonna get this data like this and like that. No, we should speak in a way that is developer first. I'm coming from the GitHub Security Lab, which is a team of security specialists that try to secure the open source software. And we are all depending on that open source software, either directly or indirectly, because your phones, your fridges, whatever, your cars are using open source software either directly or indirectly. And if we quantify our impact, in the past 4 years, we found and helped fix more than 1,000 security issues, 600 plus of which have been given security identifiers. So if you want to keep up with us, you can find us on Twitter, on X, formerly Twitter, at GH Security Lab. We post the latest research we have and some developer-first content from me. So thanks a lot. I'm here for your questions that I forgot to remind you that you could ask from here, but you can also ask from here, like you can shout something. If you want to ask something later, you can find me around. You have been a fantastic audience. I know the energy is a bit low after lunch. I feel the same, but when you have energy boosts, I'm here for you. Thanks a lot. Any questions? It either means I explain everything very well and all is understood, or it's like I don't bother asking this guy what the yeah. So cool. Thanks again, and you can find me outside. Is anything from here?
No,
okay.
Unfortunately.
It's what it is.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.